Hello my darling wonderful people, you're welcome back to my channel. Guys, Akpabio don't buy market. You know say Akpabio today no be the first time. I don't understand as a Senate president the way he talks at times. I don't know if the reason with all due respect. The matter wey dey ground now this recent statement that he made that poverty is not a crime. Guys, imagine inside Nigeria join the way we say people dey cry say hungry poverty won't finish Nigeria. Now Senate president open mouth talk say poverty is not a crime. Now Senator Natasha don't fire am back. Let's take a look at her reaction. I hate poverty, yet it was a great motivator. Growing up, I saw the ugly face of poverty up close. It was a distant concept for me. It was real, gnawing, unrelenting, and often humiliating. I hate poverty because it strips people of dignity, silent dreams, and imprisoned potentials. I despise the way it marginalizes brilliant minds, forcing them to compromise their future just to survive the day. Poverty in its cruelty rob communities of hopes and nations of progress. Yet, I cannot deny that poverty shaped me. It was one of my greatest teachers and fearless motivator. It lit the fire within me that no obstacle could extinguish. It taught me resilience when odds were stacked against me. Most importantly, it taught me empathy, a deep, unshakable compassion for those who struggle, for those whose voices are drowned by hardship. I often reflect on my journey and realize that the hunger for a better life, the dream of a more just society, and the courage to fight for change were all born from the crucible of those difficult years. Poverty propelled me into advocacy, into leadership, into a relentless pursuit of a Nigeria where no child would have to suffer what I once endured. Today, as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I can stand fearlessly against poverty, not just because of what it did to me, but because of what it continued to do to millions of our people. I'm a living proof that adversity can mold greatness, but I also believe that no one should have to suffer deprivation to find their strength. Poverty must not be a rift of passage. It must be eradicated through policies that empowered, through governance that is inhuman, through leadership that listens and acts. My missions remain clear: to build a Nigeria where every citizen can strive, free from chains of poverty. Senator Natasha VDM.
I will not get there and be intimidated by senators from Lagos or Kano. Are we capable now? We are Kogi Central. You know who we are. So then courageous, competent.
Natasha have started again. Wahala for Akpabio don dey run kitty kata kata because Natasha has given him water just a few minutes ago. So let's go through what is happening. Let's give you all the details of what is happening. Because you see this issue of Inti no dey stay for one place. Natasha don't carry and come public. In fact, she come now, she said that she want to apologize. But guess how she went about it, guys? She don't drag Akpabio. Let me go straight into the details. So this is what is going on right now.
And the rest people, when they carry themselves go there, you don't know these guys. You are going for his funeral. All of them, not just even Nigerian politicians, right? Not just Nigerian politicians. All the politicians around the world that went there, they didn't go there because they give a flying fuck about the father that died. You think they care about the father that died? They don't care about the father that died. Both the US politicians, both the UK politicians, none of them care about the father who died. Catholic people now, we think, oh yes, our father is influential, they love him, they like him so much. No. All the politicians that went there, they went there to do politics.
I want to ask Akpabio's wife, do you want to tell me that side chick matter never caused quarrel for her before? Abi it's because you want to protect his senatorial seat. You want to zip this one, or you want to sweep it under the carpet. This whole thing between Natasha and Goswe Akpabio, for me, is categorized into misuse of power, disrespect, and disregard. Your seat is like your position. Seating arrangement is being done according to your position in some organization. So changing your seat arrangement is as good as changing your position. Ireti, that is a colleague to Natasha, saying seating arrangement shouldn't be an issue is a trivial thing. It shows that women, most times we are against each other. We just pretend to love one another, but we don't. How can you say sitting arrangement in that kind of setting is trivial? If you can read in between the lines, you will obviously know that her allegation is not far from the truth. The highest level of the disrespect is that why sexually harassing a woman that is married if you have regard for her? It means you don't have respect for her marriage, you don't have regard for her. Natasha said Akpabio wanted her to make him happy before she will be able to move her Jakarta motion. And because she said no to it, hatred entered. Akpabio's aide refers to Natasha's allegation as tissues of lies, and that Natasha is angered because she was removed as the chairman of Senate Committee on Local Government. Why was she removed? Because she didn't grant the sex favors, Abi? Just as corruption is the order of the day in Nigeria, abuse of power is second to it. Now you see a lot of bosses seeking sexual favors from their PAs, from their staff, lecturers seeking sexual favors from their students. And if you don't give, you will fail your exams. Why was Senator Natasha's seat changed? Why was she removed from being the chairman of the Senate Committee on Local Government? Why? Akpabio was probably trying to use the power he has to get what he wants, even from a married woman. All the single ladies never do. Akpabio's wife has come out to say, my husband is disciplined though, and he's also responsible. Natasha is just making content. She is also filing for defamation of character against Natasha. This is the reason why a lot of women that are sexually harassed cannot have the boldness to come out and tell the world that this is what my boss is doing to me, this is what my pastor is doing to me, this is what my lecturer is doing to me. Because if they come, these same fellow women that are saying women supporting women, these same women will bully them. That's if power no pass power. I am hoping that Natasha wins this case. Enough is enough of this misuse of power, sexual harassment, sexual favors. This thing that is happening in Nigeria, it cannot happen in some civilized country. But in our country, Nigeria, the top people are doing it, the middle class are doing it, the low class are also doing it.
This is so special. What will make Senator Natasha to come out and still be talking and stand on her ground, still be talking about this knacking issue? In fact, even on her sarcasm, letter of apology that she just released, she still went ahead and still be talking about this knacking, this inviting her for dinner, these other things. For her to come out to be saying something like this, that means that this woman knows the truth. She has all her evidence, because even with all the intimidation, everything, I know people must have met her to say apologize. That's why she released her sarcasm, and even in between the sarcasm later, she still puts in some evidences, and she was still talking about that, knacking this incidents, inviting for private dinners and things like that. So, Senate President, this one that she has been coming around and be saying things like this, how far? You two should come out to talk. Because for Natasha to be coming out and be dropping all this evidence in between, she'll go to national TV and speak about it and still say the same thing. She even writes something in public that everybody will read and still be talking about this knacking incident, and still be talking about you inviting her for private dinner, and still be talking about things like that. That means this woman knows what she's talking about, sir. She knows what she's talking about. Guys, do you remember after this, the entire thing started, Senator Akpabio's wife came out to say that she should know her husband is joking, things like that. Senator Akpabio's wife, how far? Look at all these evidences that Senator Natasha is bringing, even on her write-up after the entire thing. Even after 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 month, Senator Natasha is still standing on her ground, like still talking about the same thing, the same evidence. Mrs. Akpabio, how far? Guys, in case you guys have forgotten about that video where Akpabio's wife was saying that she knows Natasha's husband, they were family friends, they are things like that. Let me just recall our memory. See the way Akpabio's wife was so confident defending her husband. Just watch this.
By the Senate President that Natasha didn't know anything about the rule book before she,
due respect,
came in.
This Senate President, the way he speaks, only God knows. Mm-hmm. Berating her, he said that's the problem when people come through the court process. Mm-hmm. She has a right to fight for election as she got in. Said she didn't go through the induction because she came through the cross process, but she's been in this house for a while. She's pushed bills forward. She's gone on foreign trips with even you, the Senate President, which we see. So it's now because she was speaking based on privileges, which she wanted to be heard. And now you are now saying this against her. At first, you are berating her. You are denigrating her. We must say no to what is being said to women. Then, his own legislative aide now went on a tirade on social media. Umfon said all sorts. Is Umfon sexualizing Natasha? Why will he say that, oh, transparent clothes? So is he imagining Natasha in transparent clothes? Why would that even come to a legislative aid?
It's quite uncalled for.
Then you say pancake. So that means you're objectifying the woman. So what you also mean invariably is that Natasha has no brain. This is a qualified lawyer. That's only pancake she knows how to rub. I hear he's been trying to lie. You know, when people do things and you slam them, they will lie that their page was hacked. Because Umfon also went attacking me because I stood up. And I will stand up for Natasha. The world should hear it. The truth is, there's constantly been a tiff between both of them. And it's not only Natasha, they've treated the other female senator, Senator Ritila Kingibe, that same way. They can quote the law about position and seats and all of that, but also there's a right of privilege when you have to be heard, when you stand on an order. When Akpabio, did his, the Saraki subject him to this. Anyway, we've already had intelligence report that they were going to subject that to the disciplinary committee and all of that. We will see.
Yeah.
They should not forget, there's already a court judgment as regards suspension. So you can't suspend the people of Kogi. Like all the senators gather at the back. I also hear, anyway, they've debunked the story that's fake news. I also hear they were trying to call, what's it called, Brekete. Why did you grant, I've heard it's fake news. But see, like all your senators gang up against Natasha, we'll keep saying it here.
Right.
Because when you did your own, even yours was even worse than this.
Yeah.
Nobody was high-handed.
All right.
Learn to respect women. Enough of all of this.
Well,
even in the statement, he even still showed. So because Natasha came through a court process, which she fought for a case,
so she was familiar with.
So does it mean she's not familiar? And she's been in the Senate for how many months now?
Well,
so we should stop all of this. We know what's going on. I stand 1,000% with Natasha Akpoti.
all right. Well, she's been subjected to that disciplinary committee, but you know, there's been more reactions. Let me just take Senator Shehu Sani's tweet. He wrote, "It's the responsibility of the opposition senators from the PDP, LP, and NNPP to intervene and prevent the Akpabio Natasha rift from further deteriorating. Disciplinary committee can only lead to suspension," and that's a senator speaking.
Yeah.
I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Really
All right, thank you. And good one there. Senator Shehu Sani is a former senator, so he's speaking from experience.
Yes.
And he's saying that, yes, I agree with him that the voice of the opposition is quite loud.
Yeah.
The silence, of the opposition is quite loud in this instance. In fact, I was quite embarrassed to hear that other Kogi State senators were apologizing on her behalf. You know, and all of them are men, by the way. So they were saying that, oh, they were sorry. In fact, one of the men who was apologizing resisted or opposed the bill on violence against persons. So you can understand the background. But in terms of, no, they were apologizing for her behavior on her behalf. She didn't ask them to. I'm just saying that how the voice of the opposition, the silence is really loud at this time. Also, I must say that the voice of women in Nigeria, women groups, you know, women leaders, fellow leaders, also their silence is very loud as well. Yes, you can, to be objective, they say that yes, they have rules, and in fact, they say this defamation suit against the Senate president might be a bit watery because there are certain privileges that are exclusive to senators. And so, and even she herself said it during a radio interview, that there are certain things that happen within the House that they cannot be judged by, you know, outside personnel. That's also separation of powers, legislature, judiciary, and the executive. However, it must be said that this culture of speaking to women and disrespecting and dishonoring women in public offices must end in Nigeria.
Must.
And the Senate president, by virtue of his office, must lead this charge.
Yes.
It is embarrassing and disgraceful to imagine that women who are elected, by the way, the numbers have decreased, and you can now understand why. Yes, if a lot of the women who are being encouraged to come into politics, and a lot of campaign is done around this, are not encouraged to serve because when they get in there, they are at best second-class citizens, where they have to be reminded that they have husbands at home. Can you talk to your husband like this? Where they have to be reminded that, oh, you cannot talk in that way. She exercised her right. And in terms of understanding the position of a senator, how many voices of the other men, we have 109 senators, don't we, in the House? How many of them have we heard their voices or have passed a bill or transmitted the bill as Senator Natasha has done? She has served her people well. She worked hard, and we all saw the journey to emerging as senator to get this seat. It was meritorious. And so I think she should be accorded the same respect as every senator should be respected. And very importantly, women's voices should be heard.
Professor Kila, I wanted your opinion on this subject as well. I mean, I hope that this case will set some sort of precedent as to decorum and why decorum is important. Because, I mean, as much as we are saying that, you know, the Senate president should have done this, I think also the, Natasha Akpabio could have also restrained herself during the process. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I totally agree with you. And let me start by saying that Shehu Sani's tweet reflects what we said here 2 or 3 days ago. You know, when I say when this kind of thing happens, the first thing that comes to mind is where is the opposition? And indeed, where are the men and women of goodwill? Goodwill not to take a side, but to say this is right or this is wrong, and to see a way to move forward in decorum way. Because the whole point is that if you are in this hallowed chamber, red chamber, they call them distinguished, and they behave in ways that are not distinguished, it is worrisome for the country. I think all legislators should learn the rules, but above all, those who chair proceedings should understand that they have a bigger duty of maintaining not just decorum, but proceedings. When somebody says somebody does not know the rule, actually, let me not say someone, let me call name. When Akpabio says somebody else doesn't know the rule, there's a flaw there. Let me give 1 second lesson on legislative procedure. The duty of the chair of any legislative sitting, the main duty is to allow the process to flow. That is your main interest. So you must find the way. If somebody is in a wrong position, you let them talk and you overrule them. If somebody is doing the wrong thing, you hear them out, then you cover it out. But I think it's important for everybody to understand these rules, and the public as well. And by the way, if they're doing this to women, and they say women are not in places, I blame voters, not the people.
Natasha is not backing down anytime soon. This woman is not backing down anytime soon.